Welcome back, VST here, S23, and I want to share with you guys my experience using the Samsung S23 Ultra for almost 1 month. Because remember guys, I bought it the same night the Galaxy Unpacked event was there, so I decided I bought it, and then the next day I got a call from the Samsung Experience store, so I got it actually the next day, which was really crazy good, like really shipped to market, boom, immediately. But now guys, I'm almost using this phone for 1 month, and I wanted really to share with you my honest impression. One month of use with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, with the Galaxy S23 Ultra, and of course with this 200 megapixel of camera. So what really has changed for me guys? The first thing I'm going to start with is really the phone itself, like the design of the phone. Although being very similar, I mean, it is pretty much still this very big box with aluminium and glass and etc. and with this camera, so it really doesn't look that different from the S22 Ultra, which I'm using to record this video. But in fact guys, just because the edges here are not so curved, it is so much easy to handle and hold in the hand. And by the way, I'm using it with the Samsung clear case cover. Putting it inside and outside is really a quest on itself. So it's, I mean, once it's there, no, you cannot really just take it out, or you can, but it's very hard. So this design change really improved the whole ergonomics of the phone being in my hand. And honestly, I was not a true believer. I'm a big fan of curved screens, but this is now so much better holding in the hand like this, right? So it's a huge phone. It's also heavy, so every time you get it in your pocket, in and out, and you hold it with your fingers guys, it's definitely easy to hold it when it's not so curved. And I guess also the cases, I'm only using Samsung cases right now, are like this. The only part I don't like about the case is the fact that the case here is just very open, which is a bit weird. But overall, this design change really improved the way I hold my phone. It's now really safe, and I feel a bit safer when the phone is like this in my hand. I don't have a feeling that every time I'm gonna take it out from my pocket, oh, it's gonna drop. So that's one thing guys. The other topic I wanted to discuss, and this is something that really changed the way I experience the phone, is the battery. And you might think yourself, yeah, why it's still the same 5000 mAh of a battery guys? It has been really like nothing in common, or at least not in like the previous days. Like maybe S9, S10 was like this, but S21, S22 and the Ultras, they really had, yeah, I don't want to say bad, but I said it, they really had a bad battery life. And the use case scenario, usually I wake up like 7 or 6:30 in the morning guys. With the S21, 22 and the Ultras, I also had the S21 Plus, I would go out of battery by, let's say, 16 in the afternoon. And this is really devastating because I have to take my kids from school and we go outside in the summer. I cannot do any photos, I cannot even take a phone call. It was really devastating. Now, thanks to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 guys, I do believe it's mainly because of the 8 Gen 2 battery life of this phone has been greatly improved. And you can watch, I did a full dedicated review testing this phone outside, taking it 6:30 in the morning through the whole day with me, doing photos and videos and all of this with SIM card, with 5G, back in my office with Wi-Fi and all of that. And I also did some simulated tests where the phone got more like 10-hour screen on time. So the second thing that I want to mention, besides the improvement in the ergonomics and the design, it's clearly the battery life. And then I want to talk about the display. No, I don't want to talk about display. It's pretty much the same display. I don't see any improvement at all. It is a perfect, it's a gorgeous display. It's awesome, but it's still the same. So I'm going to skip the display. But maybe the third thing I want to share with you is the camera, because Samsung bragged about the new HP2 ISO sensor, 200 megapixel, you know, with the dual ISO HG and all of this, and it's really very good guys. But how do we know this guys? And I spent really a lot of time with many people trying to do some photo samples, you know, shooting raw photography and trying to see how much we can recover with playing with the highlights. And indeed this camera is great, but the software that Samsung is using, the processing, is still not where we want to have it in terms of how it handles noise, in terms of the whole post-processing. So forget about this. I just want to be very blunt for this video. The biggest change in the camera that I've seen is really 30x hybrid zoom, because you know we have 3x and 10x optical, right? 30s is a hybrid, which means we use optical and also digital zoom. The pictures are very sharp, very clear. But even this is not the main improvement guys. The main improvement is really in video stabilization. This has been really like nothing I have seen before. And when I say nothing I've seen before, I really mean it. You might go back and check my videos, the camera comparison between the S23 Ultra and the S22 Ultra, and you can just see how stable this video footage is. The new twice wider OIS really plays this card and it works. So what else is there? Besides the new changes in the design reflecting into improved ergonomics, also a full day battery life and the new improved video with stabilization, you might as well think there should be something else. And I can confirm, guys, I'm using this now for almost 1 month. I don't think it's really the same as the S22 Ultra in terms of operation, in terms of animation and stutterness. And I know a lot of people will say, yeah, but you're pixel pipping this. No, I'm not. Those are flagship phones, and every time you do something like, you just go outside of an application, you attach a picture, you go back and send it up. The S22 Ultra you really like maybe 3 times out of 10. The S23 Ultra is absolutely perfect. Still, there are some tiny nitty lags and stutters, but overall, maybe because of the A Gen 2 for Galaxy, right? We know it's highly clocked, but yeah, this doesn't really play along that much. But maybe because they changed the chip, and right now we have Snapdragon, right, which we had also in the past, or at least in the phones from the Korea and also from US. Maybe because of this, the whole experience, the whole user interface, the smoothness and the stubbornness has been really reduced, and now I can say finally this phone behaves like a flagship phone. And this is probably the phone that the S22 Ultra should have been, guys, right? So I'm not really hating that much on the S22 Ultra. It's still a great device, but even nowadays when I get the S22 Ultra in my hand and I just try to perform something, it will lag and this will drive me crazy. The S23 Ultra is really better. She doesn't really drive me crazy so much. So guys, really full day battery, new improved design, we have faster chip, better animations, and we have great video stabilizations. From 1 month use, that is really what I can tell you. Everything else pretty much still feels the same, although there are changes like the buttons are wider and this and that, and there are of course some new things, other new things, but this for me has been like the main big 4 changes. So I'm really honest with you guys. If you have any questions about the S23 Ultra, don't hesitate to ask, and I'll see you around. With that said, VST over and bye.